If you're thinking about retiring before Medicare kicks in, chances are health insurance costs have crossed your mind more than once. I'll be honest, they've kept me up at night too. The first time I looked at what my coverage might cost without any help, it felt overwhelming. I remember thinking, how am I supposed to make this work without completely blowing up my whole retirement plan? A lot of people are worried about what's going to happen to the Affordable Care Act subsidies after 2025. Some even wonder if early retirement will still be affordable at all. That fear makes sense. Health insurance is already one of the biggest expenses we face when we leave work, and the idea of losing financial help for premiums is scary. But here's the part that many don't realize. The ACA isn't going away. What's changing are the enhanced subsidies we've had these past few years. That means the help will shrink, but it won't disappear completely. So today I want to walk you through what's really happening without the politics, what's changing in 2026, and how you can plan ahead so you're not caught off guard when open enrollment rolls around. I'll also share my own ACA coverage details, including the estimate I just ran that honestly surprised me, and show you how you can use the same tool to check your own numbers. To show you how this really works, let's look at my own premiums. The full sticker price of my bronze plan is $752 a month. That's what I'd pay if there were no subsidies at all. Honestly, if I had to cover that every month in retirement, it would blow up my budget. But that's not the number I pay. Thanks to the ACA, I get a subsidy of $475 every single month. So my bill is down to $277. Now for that, $277, my plan comes with a $7,500 deductible and a $50 copay for most office visits. It's not the richest coverage out there, but it gives me peace of mind against big bills, and it's affordable enough to keep my retirement budget on track. Here's how the math actually works. The ACA doesn't base your discount on whatever plan you choose. Instead, it looks at a reference plan in your area, the second lowest cost silver plan. In my county, that benchmark plan premium runs about $886 a month. Then the marketplace looks at your adjusted gross income. Based on my income under the enhanced rules we've had these last few years, they cap what they think is my fair share to about 8.5% of my income. That comes out to roughly $411 a month. So the government covers the gap between the benchmark plan of $886 and my share, which is $411. That's $475. That's my monthly subsidy. And here's the important part. I can use that $475 subsidy on any plan I want. Since the bronze plan is cheaper than the benchmark plan, that credit knocks my $752 sticker price down to the $277 I mentioned earlier. That's the system. Sticker price, benchmark, fair share, subtract. It's straightforward once you see it in action. But here's where it gets interesting. When the enhanced subsidies expire, that fair share number climbs, and suddenly the math isn't quite as generous. The enhanced subsidies we've had since the pandemic lowered the percentage of income that you're expected to pay and removed the income cutoff at 400% of the poverty level. That's why I qualify at my income level. When those enhancements expire at the end of this year, two things happen. First, the income cliff comes back. So if you earn more than 400% of the poverty level, you lose subsidies entirely. Second, the percentage of income that you're expected to pay goes up. Translation, my subsidy will shrink. My fair share will rise, and my $277 premium could land closer to $350. Not doubling, but still a bump that forces me to rework my retirement budget. Now here's the part that most people forget. We don't actually know yet what our 2026 premiums will be. In the majority of states, open enrollment for 2026 coverage runs from November 1 through December 15, 2025 for coverage that starts in January. So check your state's requirement for your deadlines. And because insurance companies are in the process of submitting rate increases right now, we won't know the exact numbers until we get closer to that open enrollment period. If you want to run your own estimate, you can plug your numbers into the calculator at kff.org. I'll link it in the description. It's the best calculator that I've found for premium planning. According to that tool, my premium is projected to rise just slightly from $277 to about $309. That's still an increase, but not nearly as bad as I feared. Time will tell how accurate the estimate actually is, but it at least gives me a ballpark figure to budget for. And I'll be honest, when I first started researching this, I braced for the worst case scenario. Based on all the headlines, I expected a gut punch, that my premium would jump by hundreds. But seeing the estimate was actually a relief. It's still more, and no one likes paying more. But it wasn't the financial doomsday that I had pictured. Even so, I'm planning ahead, because insurers are still submitting for higher rates, and the final numbers won't be set until closer to open enrollment. And this is where the fear comes in for a lot of retirees. Healthcare isn't like cable or travel. You can't just cancel it when money gets tight. Well, you could, but I wouldn't recommend it. It's a fixed cost, and when it rises, something else in the budget has to give. But fear doesn't solve any problem. Planning does. The first step is to know your numbers. Look at your projected income for next year. That's what drives subsidy eligibility. If you're withdrawing from pre-tax retirement accounts, sometimes spreading those withdrawals differently can keep your income in a little friendlier range. Some people actually delay Social Security to help keep income lower in the short term. Others pick a plan closer to the benchmark so the subsidy stretches farther. For me, choosing a bronze plan has made the most sense. It lets the subsidy cover a bigger share of the cost. If I'd pick a pricier plan, I'd still get the $475 subsidy, but I'd pay a lot more out of pocket. That's the trade-off. If you've ever had to choose between a lower premium and a higher deductible, which way did you go? Drop it in the comments. It's so interesting to see everyone's perspectives. Now back to the bigger picture. When the enhancements expire, that help won't disappear, but it will shrink, and my share will rise. That means I'll have to make choices. Not fun, but manageable. And here's the reframe that keeps me grounded. Rising healthcare costs aren't just about math. They're about peace of mind. Every extra dollar going to premiums is a dollar not going to the things that make you happy. A trip, a new hobby, maybe helping your kids or grandkids. That trade-off can sometimes sting. But having choices, even tough ones, is still a privilege. I have savings I can shuffle, I can plan ahead, and I have built a lot of flexibility into my budget. So let's land here. Subsidies aren't vanishing. The enhancements are. For many of us, that means higher bills. The key is to plan for it now so you don't feel blindsided later. Retirement was never about avoiding every bump in the road. It's about having the confidence to handle them when they come. And when it comes to healthcare, preparation is the antidote to fear. If this conversation hit home, there's another decision that ties directly into your retirement math: when to take Social Security. Just like healthcare, that choice ripples through everything else in your financial security. So check out this video where I'll walk you through how I'm making that decision for myself, and it might help you see your own path more clearly.